lesson number 21. Today we're going to be talking about basically basic, yeah, I say basically way too much, don't I? Yeah, I kind of noticed that. I just say it constantly. But anyway, we're going to be talking about basic, I had to use it, melody writing. And I really do mean basic melody writing. We're not going to talk about anything too intense, but we're going to go over some basic little extra tidbits of melody writing. This is kind of common, like little extra knowledge for most level 1 music theory courses. So I thought I'd cover this and show you guys a little bit of basic melody writing. Wow, I keep saying it. Anyway, don't expect this to be that in-depth or crazy or really intense or anything, but yeah, let's get started. Alright guys, so here is some basics on melody writing. So this could help you create some ideas for, well, basically gain a foundation for an outline for a melody that you want to write. So here's some tricks that we use as composers. So, first thing I should highlight here is something called the question and the answer. Okay? Question and answer is probably one of the very most used things in all of melody writing. So basically the idea is that you write a melody, it's almost like you're answering a question, you're asking a question, it's like da 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 or something like that, right? That's actually kind of what that is. Like it's like da 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 or whatever, and then it's like dun da da dun like that. Anyway, you could try playing it on the pianos or whatever instrument you play and see how it sounds. But anyway, basically the whole idea though is that you start on like the tonic or any other note, and then you end on like the dominant here. So it's like a question. Dominant usually isn't a key of rest, so it can be like a question mark. And then tonic is like the answer, it's the final statement. So the tonic would be a place where you could end it or give an answer. So in other words, you start off, you don't really have to start tonic here. You go tonic to dominant here, so you're giving a question, and then from here you go dominant to tonic, so it's like you go backwards. So you were here and then you give an answer. And notice how this is also almost mirrored. I've only changed one note from the E to a D now. So, now, there's a couple things with the end of the answer. Like Beethoven, by the way, would seriously, he would just jump back and forth, back and forth, back and forth between 5 and 1 constantly, and then he'd throw in a 5-7 to 1 at the end. Although you'll learn what that is later, but in harmony. But anyway, so for this, you're basically going 5, and then you're doing a couple notes down here to the 1, and then boom. Now there's a couple rules. Do you remember when we were learning about strong and weak beats? Not beaks, beats. Yes, strong and weak beaks. Because we're all birds here, right? Anyway, okay, so beats. Remember when we were talking about that? Well, basically what we're going to do is we want the final note to be on a strong beat, because it's sort of like it, well, you can try at home if you want to. You can try writing a piece of music and then have that final thing come in on a weak beat, and it just sounds totally wrong. It just sounds very surprised and doesn't sound quite finished. It has a very odd feeling to it. But if you come in on the beat, so it's like dun 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 dun, like that, instead of like dun 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 or dun dun dun. It's kind of weird. Anyway, maybe just my opinion. But anyway, okay, so the answer usually ends, I said answer ends on tonic, but it doesn't always end on a tonic. Like modern music doesn't always have that happening, but, and when I say modern, I'm not talking about like pop music or rock music, because that isn't modern at all. It's really not. It's more Baroque and classical in its origin, and then they just transpose it and put it on, not transpose, they just put it onto other instruments like guitar, bass, whatever, and then throw a random singer person and then do up a nice album cover, and then like it's just a whole team of people pushing some product on people. But they're not actually doing any real new music. They're just taking chord progressions from basically people, like chord progressions that people already made back, you know, in the Baroque period and classical period. Nothing really that special, and those people took it from before that as well. So they're not really creating anything new here. It's just simple. Yeah, there's not really much creativity. It's just like the minor little things that make anything creative. But Like the modern music that I'm talking about is like 20th century stuff where they have like atonal stuff and they're trying to discover new ways of doing things, but that is a huge other topic all in and of itself. So anyway, okay, so answers ends on the tonic on the strong beat right here. So last note on the strong beat and answer ends on tonic. So if you can remember those two rules about your answer phrase, the last note is on the tonic, okay? And it's on a strong beat. Okay, now what else? Oh yes, right here. Okay, so, oh, sorry, I just had to burp there. Yeah, for some reason the last like maybe 5 videos, it seems constantly whenever I'm filming now, for some reason I have to burp. I have no idea why, but it's pretty annoying. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, so this red thing that I have in here, this is, I'm trying to show you guys something called a motive, okay? So we have rhythmic motives, it's kind of like a theme. So notice how it's a quarter note and then 2 eighth notes. So it's quarter, like that. And that's basically a motive right there. So what a motive is it's like a short rhythmic device. Like I could put a box around that and call that like motive A. And then I'm going to copy that and tie it in. And like composers wouldn't frown on that because it's like you're tying in a central rhythmic theme and then you're altering the notes and then changing them. And people actually like to hear this. You know, like Beethoven's famous symphony, it's like dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. It's the same thing over and over and over again from the whole piece. It's one motive. It's like dun 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 dun. So count how many times you've heard that one motive over and over again. But it's all on different notes, right? So that's a powerful tool that you can use for composing and melody writing, is that you use the same rhythmic element, so a motive, and then you transplant that. So you could have like 3 rhythmic motives for your whole piece, and then you can just go through the piece and alter the notes and give you dominant and tonic where you'd want it, and then boom. But yeah, we're going to get into more advanced melody writing down the road. This is basically just a short introduction for you guys. So, now, generally, if you just doing simple melodies like this, you probably don't want to leap intervals more than a third, okay, right now. Although you can have one exception. One of the exceptions is if you go from the dominant here to the tonic at the end. Because what I'm going to get you guys to do is you guys are going to write a whole bunch of melodies, okay? So you'll write a question and an answer. And you get to pick one rhythmic motive and then you copy that and then you change the notes. But yeah, I'll show that to you in the next part. So basically what I just wanted to let you know is that keep the distance, don't jump more than a third in your melody, keep it within seconds or thirds, and other than that, end on the tonic and try to play the dominant to the tonic, use that. And notice I have this, it's like a phrase, so it's like you're joining from here to here, and then you take a little break and then go to the next part. So only have 2 phrases, okay? You can have maybe up to 4 bars like I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 4 bars total, but 2 bars is okay as well. You could just have a 2-bar question and answer, 1 bar for question and 1 bar for answer. So other than that, play around with a couple things that you can do. There's also other things you can do like inverting it. So if you were here, you could go, and you go up a third and then down a second and then like up a fourth or something like that. Like you could go that backwards. Now you could go down whatever you did this way. So say you went up a third here, you can go down a third and then you went up a second. Or sorry, you go up a third, down a second. So you could go down a third, up a second, and then, you know, whatever. Like that's called inverting it. So you'd invert. Or you can transpose it, you can move everything up. But those are things that we learn later on in the higher things. But anyway, so you can just play around with that. And yeah, so let's do some homework now. Homework. No. Hey there. Okay, so for your homework, you are going to do 30 question and answer melodies, which can be between 2 and 4 bars. They have to have 1 phrase for the question and 1 phrase for the answer. The answer has to end on the tonic on the strong beat, and you can use 2/4 time, 3/4 time, 4/4 time, or 6/8 time. And you can use any key that you want to. Try to switch it up. You know, don't always write everything in C major. But you don't have to write things in super difficult keys if you don't feel up to the challenge. Like, you don't have to write in D flat major or C sharp minor or, you know, C flat major or anything like that. You don't have to go all crazy and do tons of crazy scales if you don't really feel like it. But try to mix it up, and you can throw in a minor scale once in a while, or minor scale if you want to once in a while. That's fine. Yeah, so I'd say that's about it there. Don't think I'm forgetting anything, so I think we're good. So yeah, just do that, and don't get too worried if you don't feel like you're an amazing composer, because it does actually take a lot of practice, more than people think. It's not like you're just born and then you're like, oh, I'm a great composer, I'm going to start doing all these crazy awesome songs. No, not really. It does take practice and skill just like anything else. There's very, 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 very few people who can actually compose well, like that fast. And even then, they still have to learn the language, and then they can go. Well, at least to be doing, like, you could just sit down and like plunk around and make something up, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna know how to like write a full symphony very quickly. Anyway, basically, I'm just trying to say, don't get discouraged if you feel like your melodies aren't any good, because I spent quite a bit of time, like I've had tons of junk music that I've written, and then there's just a little bit that's ever been any good. So anyway, so you do have to write a lot when you're learning how to draw music, like music theory and harmony. You have to compose songs and do all this other stuff. So it is important to start learning how to do these like melody writing, because later on they'll be like, okay, now write a 16-bar binary piece, or symmetrical binary piece, and do it in 4-bar measures with cadences and the proper modulation and blah blah blah. And so you have to do the entire thing by yourself. There's no anything. But anyway, so this is really good practice to get you started, and then we're going to cover basically a little bit of the terms that you have to know for level 1, and then we'll pretty much be ready to finish. So just a couple more videos now, like 2-3 videos, and then we should be good. Whatever it says in the bar, I don't really know yet, because I kind of, I'm kind of weird. Like, I'll plan something in my book, and then I'll be like, no, I don't want to do that, and then I scribble it out, and then I draw something else, and then I have all these arrows pointing to different things, and saying, no, it's going to be like this, and I'm going to reorganize it this way because it makes more sense to do the lessons that way. So I usually don't end up knowing how I'm going to do it until I actually get it done. Anyway, so that's kind of how I do it. Anyway, enough of my rambling. So I hope you guys take care and have fun with this. Yeah, just try to make it fun. Just be like, woohoo, I'm going to be doing composing, yay! Yeah, so it's 21 videos, and now you get to do some fun composing. So let loose, have fun, be creative, and just enjoy it. Okay? And you can do more than 30 if you want to. You could do like 700 if you feel like it. If you just want to go ahead and do more, go ahead. Okay, anyway, so hope you guys are doing well, and take care. Bye-bye. See ya.